Right.
Pretty decent.
I know.
That was good.
And it just means that like we can work out where all our tracks are like starting. Otherwise, it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And it sounds like people are like talking to themselves, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's a pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'm recording. Everyone else is recording. We're recording on Zoom. I think we're good.
I'll start.
Yeah.
All right. Good evening. Buenos noches. Is that good? Is that all right?
You know what? I'm a Spanish teacher too, so I will just say noches is feminine, so you'd have to say buenas noches.
Ooh.
Wow.
Go on, say it, Michael. You got to say
it. Buenas noches.
Perfect. That's it. You graduated.
Thank you. Right. I'm a fluent Spanish speaker now.
You're officially bilingual.
Yeah.
Officially.
Welcome to the Goats Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time, where we discuss the greatest of all time. This week, we are joined by a very special guest. I would like to introduce Paula Luna, an extremely talented musician from Chile, who is going to be our expert today and also presenting her candidate for our topic. Now, before we get into how everyone is and if they've been up to anything interesting, which I'm sure the boys certainly haven't, Paula, did you want to just introduce yourself quickly for the audience, for people that don't know, people that are listening?
Sure, yeah. But I think you said it. I mean, I'm Paula Luna. I'm a Chilean musician. I live in London. I make indie rock, but I studied jazz and pop. So it's kind of weird. It's not like that obviously influences the music, but yeah, that's me. That's who I am.
Nice.
There we go. For once, Vinny's not the best musician in the room.
Not
by a long stretch.
Oh no, I'm scared, man.
No,
He's gonna be like, well, actually, and I'm gonna be like, I'm a fraud.
It's a sing-off.
But I'm a fraud.
But how is everybody? Has everybody had a good week? I mean, we only saw each other 2 days ago. I can imagine not a lot has happened in those 2 days.
Nothing has happened. Absolutely
The
nothing.
only thing of any note that's happened to me is I went to Pilates, which
Amazing.
I've never done Pilates before. And
I heard parties. I was
I didn't get not parties.
No.
Yeah, I was like, good for you.
No.
I've never
Much
done
more
parties
boring.
before. I was like, interesting. Okay, tell us more.
Much more mundane than that. Just Pilates, which it's just like, I don't know what it is. It's just like stretching, but it's really painful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be a little bit like yoga?
It look so easy. It's like, dude, no, you're suffering, but you make it look graceful. And
well, this is the thing. Is I went thinking this is just going to be like musical stretching, and it was absolute agony. I am so unflexible. I have no core strength whatsoever. My arse hurts. I don't even know why. Where's that happened? That wasn't even part of what happened.
Center of gravity.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Well, quite frankly, yeah.
I don't know. I'm making that up.
Sounds right.
Sounds about right.
Sounds right. Yeah.
We'll subscribe.
Paula, anything exciting happened to you this week?
No question mark.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Well, I'm going on holiday with my family next week, so super exciting. I'm going to Italy.
Oh, nice.
Which is great. You know, and you know what? This is really random, but when sometimes people ask me where Chile is, and a lot of times people think it's in Italy. So that's a random link. Yeah.
It doesn't even sound, it's not even like Chile, Italy. I don't know why.
I think it's because it's like Sicily, and then people do the link with Chile, but still, I don't know. It's just it's kind of weird. At least the people that have said it to me haven't said it in a kind of like, I know where it is, it's in Italy. And they've been like, I don't really know where it is, but I have a guess. And I'm like, okay, go for it. But yeah. Anyway, so Italy, basically I'm just going home, essentially, according to those people.
Yeah.
I don't really know that much about Chile. Is Chile is the correct pronunciation? Chile?
So this is a point of high drama amongst Chileans.
Whoa.
A lot of people prefer for people to say Chile, But I think like if in English it's chilly, it's chilly. Like, I don't know.
That's fair.
I'm chill about it all.
Oh, we've got a run for
that
our
was a
money
good
here.
one.
We've got a run for our money here.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
nicely cringe. That was
Sorry, guys, I'm
fantastic.
sorry.
That was
No,
great.
no, the only thing I know about Chile is it's really long. It's like so long. I remember seeing like a picture of it next to the whole of Europe, and it's just enormous.
Yeah,
from the top of Europe to the bottom. Or if you put it on its side, it's the same width as the United States.
Wow.
Wow.
Blimey, that's very long.
Yeah, we've got every climate you can think of, like deserts, Antarctica, all that good stuff. You know, Easter Island is also Chilean, so we've got random stuff.
That's pretty good.
We're already learning, and we haven't even started.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, should we start? Should we get started?
Why not?
Let's do it. So this week we are going to be discussing and crowning the GOAT Latin American musical artist. Now, when I think of Latin America, because I have to make everything about me, I obviously think of Messi and Pele, Maradona and the Maracanã and Brazil 7, Germany 1. And although South America and Latin America is very passionate about football, they're also very passionate about music, carnival, tango, samba, cha-cha-cha. It has a very like fun and vibrant culture of music. But on this podcast, we always have to whittle it down to just one definitive GOAT. So without any more chatting from me, who is going to go first with their pick of the GOAT musical artist?
I'll go first.
Vinny, Seb, I feel like one of you needs to go first.
I'll go first. I almost want to get mine out of the way because I feel like it may cause anger and hurt.
Oh. Let's do that one early.
Also, I think GOAT Latin American musician might be the broadest category maybe we've ever done. Like, it covers such an enormous amount of people and cultures and
and of all time. This is the thing, like even with a decade it would have already been difficult, but like of all time.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the crux of the podcast, really, because when we crown them, it's done. It's in history. No one can ever argue with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and sometimes we pick them and we're like, oh, whoops, that was a mistake. But it's done. It's too late. It's stuck. You can't go back. Yeah. So, Seb.
Right.
Go on then.
I'm terrified because Seb texted me. I was like, I'm so lost. I don't know who to pick. And Seb was like, you're going to hate me. And I was like, Shakira? And he was like, no, worse. And I was like, oh God.
No, the thing is, the worst bit is I wouldn't have considered Shakira a bad answer. And even I think what I've picked's bad. So it's so much worse than that. But it is good. Here's the thing, it is good. You just got to hear me out, okay? So look, I'm just gonna start. I don't think it's gonna come to 10 minutes actually. I put a lot of time into it, but it's quite a succinct argument for points that will become abundantly clear.
Okay, well we can have a little chat about it afterwards then.
Now, obviously, there are a lot of Latin American musicians who've had a huge amount of influence on music generally. Like, I think Latin American music is probably one of the broadest and most influential sounds we could ever cover. And when we get a subject like this, because I am inherently self-conscious and, feel like everyone's watching me, which in a way they are, I want to do something that makes me seem very intellectual. I feel this desperate need to like prove myself that I can pick someone that you've never heard of. And in that vein, I thought about doing this guy who I found recently, who is probably still very mainstream, if we're being honest, but he's called Willie Bobo, and he did a song called Fried Neck Bones and Home Fries, which is fucking great. And he was a pretty game-changing guy. He was a percussionist and session drummer for some massive artists. And then he started releasing his own music, which combined jazz with like contemporary pop, which at the time, this was in like the 60s and 70s, was considered like a bit shit. And everyone was like, oh, you can't do that. It's like ruining the music. But now you go back and listen to it and you're like, this actually bangs. And his son is in Cypress Hill. which is fucking
Oh
cool.
shit!
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Extra bonus points for that.
Exactly. But there isn't that much there out on him, and I couldn't find enough to talk about for 10 minutes. So I started looking for people who are a bit more current. And like, I'm a big fan of reggaeton. I really like J Balvin and Bad Bunny. And
and that's it.
That's it. That's it. That's their big contribution to music. And I do like it. I do really enjoy it. And I was like, if that's the route I'm going to go down, if I'm going to start talking not about cultural influence, not about real nuance, if I'm just going to start talking about pop, there's only one person I can really talk about.
Say it. Rip the Band-Aid.
I'm not saying it.
Do it right now.
I'm building up to it, which is going to make it so much worse. So,
you know what? Can I do a build up to it? Because I think I know who this is.
Okay.
I don't know the lyric though. Oh, but you guys probably don't know the lyric either. Suave nueve pa' que mi gata prenda los motores. Sonido pa' mi gata prenda los motores. No,
I know that song, but that isn't who I've picked.
Oh, okay.
Is that the guy who did Gasolina? Oh,
that is Gasolina. That's the beginning because it kind of sounds like a drum roll. So I was like, you know what?
Drum roll.
I can't say the lyrics
a Daddy Yankee drum roll, but it's not Daddy Yankee. It's someone else. Now, if Paula, if you get this, just don't reveal it. Just you reveal it with your face,
hold the suspense
and your sadness, but don't say it out loud. So,
oh, this is filmed, like my face.
If you want to, but it doesn't have to be.
I don't mind it. I don't mind. But now I know to keep my the poker face when it's necessary. So I can reveal with my face.
Yes. So look, feel free to go. But just if you might not recognize the name because I didn't know this person's real name. Anyway,
I didn't know this Willie dude, so
you didn't know this Willie dude.
Okay, that's what she said. I'm a child.
Mate, I'm loving this already. Paula, you should come on every week.
That's all the humor of this. That's every other week, yeah. That's usually we do.
You fit it in here perfectly, right? So, Armando Christian Perez was born on the 15th of January 1981 to Cuban parents living in Miami, Florida. Now,
oh no, she's got it. So her expression isn't good. This is gonna be bad.
His family.
No, I think I know who it might be.
His family had come to Florida to flee the Castro regime, which they'd been very publicly opposed to. And in fact, they were so publicly minded that Perez could recite the works of Cuban poet, and national hero Jose Marti by the time he was just 3 years old.
Damn.
He learned Spanish. No, he learned Spanish before he learned English, and he learned English by watching Sesame Street. Now, he had an absent father and was raised by his mum and was encouraged to make the most of the opportunities that America offered. It was very much a like American dream. You're here to make the most of it. Take all the chances you've got. And I will say, when you realize that and you listen back to the music, there is a bit of it. It makes sense. Like the way he performs, it makes sense. That mentality of like, just grab everything, do everything.
I think I know who this is. If it comes out of this person, I'll be surprised because I was like, I didn't know that person was. But if it is, anyway, I'm going to be disappointed in you.
However,
do we have a point where we can guess?
No.
Vinny, do you have a guess?
No, because it will ruin the. There's a.
Yeah, no, I won't say anything. I won't say anything. But I think it would be fun to see who we guess.
That's true. Maybe all write it down on a piece of paper and then guess.
I can't write
before I do the big reveal. Michael can't write. Okay.
Oh, I actually do have some paper. Okay, right. Let me write it down.
Okay, I won't carry on until you've all got it.
I don't know why I think it's this person, but I just do think it's this person.
It's a good idea to write it down.
I'm full of them, mate. It's all up here. Vinny's gone. Oh no, he's back.
Yeah, I'm trying to find.
Vinny is taking it seriously. He's like, you know what? I gotta get the appropriate paper.
Yeah.
Can't just be like out here with like a to-do list. But oh no, I was gonna show my guess. No.
Oh, that would have been a disaster.
Vinny only writes with quill.
He does. He only writes. He like dips it in. He's got a big feather. It's a whole thing. He can only write by candlelight as well. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. He's
right.
an artist.
He runs around his house going, Harry Potter.
Right. Anyway, look, I'm going to carry on whilst Vinny writes down his answer because things for Armando Perez weren't easy. His mum was an addict and he himself got into dealing as a teenager. But he grew up listening to lights of Celia Cruz and Willie Cherno from the Miami-based hip-hop movement, as well as more conventional mainstream artists like Snoop Doggy Dogg, Jay-Z, and Nas. And eventually, Perez himself found himself chasing the hip-hop dream.
Oh, I know who this is.
And his big break came when he met none other than obvious, we can all, as taste makers, appreciate Lil Jon.
But yeah, do you know that Lil Jon is actually a really good singer?
Is
it?
Like,
I've
really
heard that.
good.
Yeah.
I won't Google it right now, but please go and find. There's this like YouTube video where he just it's just like Lil Jon, but like no, not like just like blues. I don't remember, but it's
that's
really
incredible.
Anyway.
Do you know who's a lot like
incredible.
that? You know T-Pain, who did that
I was
song
gonna
with
say
T-Pain is an incredible singer and a really talented rapper, but just goes
my
like,
favorite thing
T-Pain.
about Lil Jon is the Lil Jon Lazy Town mashup on YouTube. Which if you've never seen,
I've never seen it.
It's so funny.
Incredible.
It's so funny.
Classic.
Anyway, look, we get distracted.
Sorry.
Perez meets Lil Jon in Miami and he gets featured on the East Side Boys album Kings of Crunk, which what a fucking name for an album. Jesus Christ. And a year later, he releases the song Oh Yay, which was featured on the soundtrack of the iconic film Too Fast, Too Furious. Now, if you're on that soundtrack, I mean, I don't want to get above my station here, but Paula, as a Latin American musician, being on a Fast and Furious soundtrack, it doesn't get higher than
higher. Fast and Furious. I'm aiming for Fast and Furious 15, so we'll watch out.
That's funny because they will not stop. We'll be here in 20 years' time and we'll be on Fast and Furious 39. Goes to Mars and meets up with Elon Musk's little colony and race around.
It's come back around. I thought it was terrible, and then now there's something slightly admirable about the fact they just keep going. Like there is
why the
something...
aliens haven't attacked us because they're like, the Fast and Furious franchise has not ended. We cannot kill these people until they're done.
Vin saves us all. Anyway, now then Perez went from the Fast and Furious soundtrack to releasing a couple of successful mixtapes. His first studio album, which is called M.I.A.M.I, or Miami, or Money is a Major Issue. Bang.
Whoa.
That's like
that's
in
creative.
brackets under it. With the lead single, Culo, peaking at number 32 on the Billboard Hot 100. And from here, the rest is history. Now, the name...
you guys know that culo means ass, right?
Does it?
It means asshole, doesn't it?
Just ass.
That makes so much sense because when I lived with a Venezuelan girl, she taught me to say...
Damn. I'm just saying that if you know culo from...
she taught me to say, este culo, when my girlfriend walked past.
Well, that's very sweet.
It's very romantic. Anyway, look, the rest is history, and you probably don't know the name Armando Christian Perez. But
can we hold up our signs?
He was a staple in homes across North and South America, even making it across the globe. But you might know him by a different name. That's right. I'm talking about Mr. 305.
Yes.
Mr. Worldwide. It's
I heard Cuba and American Dream, and all I could think of was Scarface.
Yes, the well-known musician Scarface.
To be fair, there is a rapper called Scarface, so there might have been an outside shot that he was secretly Cuban.
Look, now I'm not going to waste your time by like going on some huge fucking trying to make Pitbull sound like a proper. He is obviously a proper artist, but I'm not going to try and make this sound like nuanced. It's not like that. I'm just going to be pretty blunt about it. Look,
okay,
I'm not joking, but I'm sort of joking, but I'm not joking because I know it's not the most intellectual answer, but his blend of EDM, reggaeton, rap, and pop has been a staple on every dance floor from Cuba to Kuwait for the last 2 decades. He's been nominated for 143 separate musical awards. He's won a Grammy, a BMI Music Award, and so many Latin American music awards. It's uncountable. I asked ChatGPT because I couldn't work out, and I said to ChatGPT how many, and it was just like, I don't know. It's too many.
No, it wasn't.
No, it did.
It did.
It did.
The one
honestly
thing
did.
ChatGPT cannot answer.
Exactly. The one thing it was.
You won't believe it.
On top of that, he has 4 certified platinum albums and literally countless platinum platinum.
Why are you struggling with that?
What?
Can't do it.
Singles.
Literally countless platinum singles. Give Me Everything is certified 8 times platinum.
Which one is Give Me Everything?
The one where he goes like, take a picture of that with a Kodak. You know that one?
I don't remember it.
Oh,
Nope.
it's such a banger.
But I believe you. I believe you.
And
I don't think I know a single Pitbull song, to be honest.
What?
Yeah,
No,
neither.
you do. Like, let me.
Tiene tremendo culo. Mr. World. I mean, I don't know.
Mr. Worldwide. Oh
I know
my
I just
him,
feel
but I
like
don't know.
Yeah, I
songs.
know him, but I couldn't sing us one of his
Like
songs.
Timber, it's going down.
Oh, I fucking hate
I'm
that
yelling
song.
Timber.
Yeah, I hate that song.
Oh my
Let me
god.
see.
Bring
I
back
gotta figure
memories
it
when I was 18 and in the nightclub. Fucking hell.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing.
Not good memories, Seb.
Yeah,
It's
that's not a good thing.
memories.
No memories.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's all about the memories. Go Girl, International Love, Fireball,
Yeah, it's like a
Hey Baby.
yeah, the whole no, never mind. I was gonna say
Just
one, but I don't remember.
I know it's not. I know it's not like
Mozart.
it's not Mozart, but it's something, and you have to give it credit. And it's also not just silliness and big numbers and party energy. He is genuinely, I don't want to say very talented, but he is talented. His second Spanish-speaking album, which is written Dale, but I think I must be pronouncing that wrong. D-A-L-E. Dale.
Which means, oh god, yeah, he says it all the time. He's like, Dale.
What does it mean?
It means like go on.
Exactly. Well, it is considered to be a bit of a masterpiece for a party album. It's been described, and this isn't by me, this is by much more refutable musical outlets, as perfectly capturing the essence of a Latin American party, with friends dropping in and out, a fusion of Spanish and English, and featuring artists from the whole of South America to come together to make this like party, good vibes only album. And don't take my word for it, because he won a fucking Grammy, right, for that album, for Dale. Okay. And yes, he is a bit cringe. And yes, he wasn't actually born in South America or even Latin America.
No, Cuba is. Oh no,
No,
Miami?
he was born in Miami. But Miami's almost part of Latin America. It's so.
He's part of the culture.
He's
Yeah,
part
Miami
of the culture.
doesn't even. Yeah, honestly,
It's the
I
culture,
agree.
yeah, definitely
Yeah, it's
culture,
the culture.
definitely culture.
Also, like,
yeah.
I saw somewhere, like, isn't Spanish like almost a more spoken
I've
in
heard that,
in
yeah.
Florida than English? Like,
I've
it's
heard
like
that too.
more Spanish
It's like
speakers.
there's more Spanish speakers than English speakers in certain areas of
Yeah.
the US. But also
Anyway.
like Florida, like even that is a word in Spanish, like California, like all those, everything that's southern United States, like it's just all in Spanish. Like Los Angeles means the angels, Florida, flowery, like just stuff. And even, just the proximity, like it's just Cuba, mini Cuba, little Cuba.
Exactly. And the thing is he might have a big bald head and be a bit cringe and not be that cool, and maybe he just says the same things over and over again. And, like some of his raps are just words in a line. They don't actually make any sense.
He reminds me a lot of the guy. Who's that guy who just says the same thing?
2 Chainz. 2 Chainz.
No, Sean de Paul.
No,
Sean de Paul.
Sean de Paul. No, Sean de Paul. He is also iconic.
Yeah, I think he's iconic too. I think he's iconic too.
Oh,
he just says the Sean de Paul thing. That's all I know him from.
Vibes.
Yeah, no, but this is the thing. The same way, if you put
vibes,
Get Busy or Shake doing on any dance floor, it goes off. Like, you can't deny that they're floor fillers. They might not be good, but they are kind of good. You can't take that away from him. Anyway, look,
me and Vinny be getting a beer at this point.
He absolutely paved the way for the influx of South American music, pop music, and reggaeton that we have in the mainstream charts, I believe. I'm not saying that he is the pinnacle of that, but he broke through. And I do think, I mean, whether or not Paula would say this is a good thing or not, but like Bad Bunny and Justin Huile, I think that's how I'm saying it, and other mainstream Latin American, Spanish speaking dance music, pop music, he broke down that barrier. And obviously it's a very English way of looking at it, but I wouldn't have heard of any of that if it wasn't for Pitbull. And rightly or wrongly, Pitbull was absolutely 100% definitely the first exposure I had to Latin American pop music. There is, I undoubtedly. And like, he makes bangers. He makes bangers. He does. That's Pitbull. Hotel Room Service, what a tune. Like,
the one that goes, I know you want me.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know I want you.
I know that
you want me.
Yeah, I
know that one.
This is the thing. When I was thinking about, wait, do we discuss this afterwards? Because I have comments.
No, well, that's pretty much, I was going to finish by just saying that influence for me, and the influence of songs like Don't Stop the Party, yeah, like when that comes on, it just gets the vibes going. Like, if the floor's a bit dead, if a DJ's struggling, if he's having a bit of a mare, like if it's the graveyard shift, put on Don't Stop the Party, and people are just gonna go. Like, you can't take that away from him. You can't stop the party. Thank you, Paula. And for me, that influence and that ability to just fill a dance floor, rightly or wrongly, that's GOAT worthy. That is GOAT worthy. And yeah, some of his lyrics are a bit one-dimensional and, if we're being totally honest, quite sexist, but there's an energy there. He brings an energy and you can't take it away from him. And don't talk about the anti-vax stuff he did. We'll just move past that.
Anti-vax?
No, I said we're moving past it, Paula. We're not talking about
that. I didn't know that.
He described the pandemic as a scamdemic, which
pandemic
-1.
You can imagine him just being like, "Dale, scamdemic." Like, it's just all just like, it's great. What is
not
that?
Real? Didn't Pitbull get because there was like that competition where people could vote in.
Oh yeah,
where,
yeah.
So people voted in like where they wanted to see. It was like Taylor Swift and Pitbull and a few of these artists where they wanted them to go. I think basically 4chan got a hold of it, and for Taylor Swift they did it they like rigged the votes so the most votes was like this blind and deaf school or something, and then Taylor Swift was like, I'm not doing that. But then for Pitbull they rigged the vote for like some
Alaska.
Was it? No, I thought it was an Icelandic.
No, so it was
Alaska.
It was a promotion with Walmart, and they said that the company with the Walmart that had the most likes on Facebook, Pitbull would go there and perform. Yeah. And they picked one in Alaska, but he went and absolutely just put down.
There's like 30 people there, like 30 people living in this town, like a tiny place. But he
I kind of think that's badass. Like, he just went. He just went and did it, and he personally invited the guy from Something Awful, the website, who had like started the whole thing because he thought it was so funny. He paid for him to fly out to come to it. Like, he
had to go because he's apparently Mr. Worldwide. So if he turns down,
of course,
if he turns down a destination, they're gonna call him like Mr. Select Few Countries, aren't they?
I love it. Like, obviously there are bits of him that are a bit shit, but like, he really doesn't take himself too seriously, and I just think there's something oddly lovable about Pitbull.
Yeah. I think the thing about that I was having trouble with when choosing mine was that is a factor. Like, I asked on my Instagram, like, guys, I'm freaking out. Like, I don't know who to pick. Opinions, please. And then everybody jokingly would say like certain artists, and they were like, but there's this guy, Luis Miguel, who came up a couple of times, and everyone's like, Yeah, no, but you can't say that. And it's like, I get why not, because he's not Pitbull level, but it's kind of like just fun music. And so everyone's like, it's not serious enough. And then it's like, but what do we like about music? Like, in this screen, we have all heard Pitbull and had fun-ish with Pitbull in the background, so what is music? What is the enjoyment of music? Like, how do we define, like, is it because of technique? Is it because of content? Like, what defines a good musician? And I think that you went on an angle that, sure, it's not like the serious thing, but you went on an angle that is still very important, which is enjoyment.
Exactly. And also like just nostalgia. Like when you hear Pitbull, it does make you smile. Like you kind of I've never said this. I don't know if I've told many people this. My first kiss was to Pitbull by Timber by Pitbull.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Didn't you have your eyes open the whole time? And everyone was like, you shouldn't
you didn't
do
have
that.
to say that. You didn't have to my first kiss. However old I was in 2013. How old am I now? Will we 2023? I would have been 15.
15.
Yeah. And it was my first proper kiss. You know, we all had like kisses at school or whatever, but this was my first like, I fancy you and I'm gonna kiss you kiss. And it was New Year's Eve, it would have been 2013. The New Year's countdown went off, and then when it was like time to everyone press play on It's Going Down, and I looked at, we'll bleep this, but I looked at in the eyes, and I didn't stop looking her in the eyes, which it turned out was an issue, and I didn't know that.
Imagine seeing Seb just staring at you while Pitbull
she
plays.
didn't have her eyes open. My friend came up to me and told me afterwards. He was like, "You're not supposed to keep your eyes open," and I was like,
"Thank goodness, you'd have traumatized the poor girl forever if she's seen you like this, listening to that song."
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's going down.
Yeah, exactly.
At New Year's Eve as well. God,
that's so sweet. And I love how you say it with like first and last name, because that's so like high school, you know? It's
exactly.
Like...
Yeah, I will take your suggestion into consideration when I do my final deliberation, because I don't know if you know this as well, Paula, but every single week the host is the one who picks. So that's the other caveat of the show, is that one of us is just our opinion overrides everything all the time as well. So Pitbull, he's going in the maybe, but then all three of them are maybes until I decide.
That's true. It's not a no, which is
not a no.
I have to say, it's quite a Pitbull way of looking at things. It's not a no.
It's not a no. Yeah,
that sounds
I
weird.
love your passion for him. Like, you're almost swaying me, but because of simply like, you're like a politician. You're like, and then Pitbull was there for me for my first kiss. Pitbull was there for you. Pitbull will always be there. Mr. Worldwide, anywhere, anytime. 305, darling. Bam, mic drop. And I'm just like, you know what? Maybe Pitbull is the best ever.
Maybe.
I think he might be.
He could be, but he also couldn't be as well. So we'll find out. I've got to listen to two other people. So, and only one of them's got to beat Pitbull. So we'll see how that goes.
That's tough odds.
That's tough odds. But no, Seb, fair enough. Fair enough. Very good. You did do that one from the heart. I know your love for good music in some people's eyes.
No,
like
but that's the thing. No. But that's the thing, is I do like good music, and that's why I feel okay picking Pitbull, because obviously he isn't the most musically gifted individual who's ever lived, but there is something for it, and I feel confident.
It's a bit like a guilty pleasure, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a straight guy wearing pink. You're confident because it doesn't make you any less straight. And all the ladies are like, hey, you're confident. You know what? You showed up, you believe in Pitbull, and you're not scared to say it because you're not unconfident about your...
That's exactly what it's like.
The problem with that is pink can look good.
Damn, that took me a while. I was like, ooh.
The thing is, I shouldn't be so mean to Seb, because I genuinely think Busted are better than the Beatles. But anyway,
who's better than the Beatles?
Oh no,
you've never heard of Busted?
You've never heard of Busted?
No.
Maybe you could cover it. It's an incredible, very indie.
It's a 3-piece from like 2000, and they
Can
just
you
used to
sing
do.
a bit of one of their choruses?
Michael, you've got a story about this.
You know, year 3000. You know, I've
Been
been to the year 3000. Not much has changed, but they
we
live underwater. No?
No.
And your
they were
great,
massive
great,
in the UK, like the
granddaughter.
2000s.
You
Very
know
early
what? That's great
2000s.
because I can just use my internationalness as a cover up for not knowing these like iconic bands. Like you think they're better than the Beatles, so I should know them.
Easily.
They're not.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not, but
yeah, they were only big in
not.
England for
Like
like 3 years.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we've had Pitbull. He's in the bag. Who wanted to go next? Paula, did we want to hear from you next, or did Vinny's got his hand up? When do you want to? You can decide whether you want to go
I don't
now
mind.
or at the
I'm
end.
terrified of Vinny.
Okay.
I'm terrified.
Do you mean
he's
in this context or just generally?
Generally, he logged on and I freaked out. No, I mean in this context because he's like fucking hating Pitbull, just be like fuck Pitbull, and then he's like, oh no, what is he gonna say? And he's a musician, so he's gonna be like, well, the tessitura of Pitbull just does not compare to.
That is exactly what Vinny would say as well.
It's like for me, Pitbull and like Taylor Swift, and there's a few other artists. They're all in
Do
this
not
sort
put Pitbull and Taylor Swift together.
But the thing is, they're in this. In my head, they're in this container where I was forced to listen to them in this shit club my friends would always drag me to every weekend. I'd never want to go there, but I was always dragged there, and I just remember just listening to that. They would play the same songs over and over again. I just have really like traumatic memories of these artists.
I get that. Yeah. I guess maybe I have Stockholm syndrome with Pitbull.
That is a big part of Pitbull.
I mean, I have Stockholm syndrome with reggaeton for sure. Because I remember hating it when I would go to the club and I would be like,
just sadly.
Sad twerk.
Sad twerk.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, sorry. Yeah, Vinny, you go. I'm curious to hear your perspective. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys prefer? Fine with you.
We normally we just whatever really. So yeah, Vinny, we can.
Vinny,
have
you go,
next.
mate.
Okay.
Save the best till last.
I'm excited to hear Vinny's though, because I've not heard of Vinny's. I don't think.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Vinny picked something so niche that even Paula hasn't heard of it?
That would not surprise me. You said the Willy dude. I didn't know him. I was like, oh.
Well, I'd be surprised because you said you learned jazz, right?
Yeah, well now it's gonna be more embarrassing when I don't know this person.
I'd be very surprised if you haven't heard at least one of his songs. I'd be very surprised.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm ready. So shall I just start talking?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So Amy Winehouse, Frank Sinatra, Peggy Lee, Ella Fitzgerald, Cliff Richard, and the Supremes. What do all of these musical icons have in common? Well, are you going to guess? I can just tell
let
you.
Vinny do his bit.
Well, I'll let you know that they've all had a go at covering the exact same song. This song was a landmark for music and almost single-handedly put the country of Brazil on the map
who you were gonna pick.
for musicians. It was a soft, smooth, beautiful, jazzy little tune that goes by the name of The Girl from Ipanema. Yeah, okay, yeah, you do know that. Nice.
Yeah, have you ever been in an elevator?
Yeah, it's
God, guys,
elevator
I'm
music.
so sorry.
I feel like it's just like little vibes, like just that little head bubble.
It is.
So infectious was the song that it is believed to be the second most covered song of the 20th century, second only to Yesterday by the Beatles.
Oh my God.
Pretty elite company.
How does Yesterday go?
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Yeah,
okay.
So why did The Girl from Ipanema take the world by storm? Well, quite frankly, because it was the first time most Westerners had heard bossa nova. Bossa nova, meaning new wave in Portuguese, was a completely new genre in the late 50s. It combined the rhythmic playfulness of samba from Brazil with the soft, vibrant, and complex melodies of jazz from America. For both Brazilians and Westerners, it was like absolutely nothing they had heard before. To take the rich and complicated rhythms of a massive samba band and simplify them so you could play it all on just one classical guitar took incredible amounts of genius and talent. And without further ado, the man responsible for essentially inventing this new incredible type of music was a Brazilian guitarist and singer by the name of João Gilberto. So, combining this new rhythmic pattern with the intricate and delicate sounds of a classical guitar playing jazz chords was a revelation to the world of music. And not only that, it was also a chance to show the world what the new Brazil was like. See, Brazil had been through decades of political turmoil and corruption during the first half of the 20th century. But with the appointment of Juscelino, hang on, give me a sec. with the appointment of Juscelino Kubitschek, I think I got that right.
That sounded good.
I don't know Portuguese. So.
Yeah, it sounds Russian.
I don't know. That sounds like bubbly Spanish to me. Is that
it sounded legit to me, and I'm a linguist.
Know. It feels weird to imitate an accent.
But I think it's fine, and I also think because you're Latin American as well, you can probably get away with it.
Yeah, that's true. I'll just use that card.
Also,
it's like us doing a French accent, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Also,
accents are accents, aren't
accents
they?
are accents. It's kind of fine, I think.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it too. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, with the appointment of this new fella in 1956, Brazil was finally on its way to both economic prosperity and political stability. There was a feeling amongst Brazilians that their country could be started anew. Gone were the fascist governments of old, and the world started to see Brazil as a place of sunshine, festivities, and beauty. And with this fresh new look of Brazil, João Gilberto's The Girl from Ipanema became the soundtrack of it all. But let's just take a quick look into what made The Girl from Ipanema such an iconic and entrancing song. I've already discussed the whole bossa nova instrumentation part of it, but the reason the song stood out from the rest of the bossa nova tunes is probably because of the vocals. Originally, the song was sung in Portuguese by João Gilberto himself, but when recording the tune in New York, his record label wanted English-speaking lyrics so that it could have more mass appeal in the West. The song was translated fairly loosely, but they didn't have a singer yet. That's when, at the last minute, João's then wife, Astrid Gilberto, stepped in. Her soft, angelic, exotic voice was the cherry on top, which wrapped the song up so beautifully. She sang with complicated harmonic melodies, but because of her uniquely gorgeous voice and the incredible arrangement by João, the song was a pop hit in the West, selling over 5 million copies and being awarded a gold disc.
5 million when was this?
Actually, at first it was 1 million.
No, but when did it come out?
You know what? I think it was like 63.
Oh, damn, yeah. So 5 million is big for 63, I feel.
There's probably only about 10 million people in the world.
Yeah, and coming from Brazil as well, like as an unknown entity into Europe to do 5 mil.
Yeah,
that's actually really
in
impressive.
the 60s. That's massive.
I find those numbers terrifying. This is a really weird sub tangent, but I had a real panic the other day. You know, when people say there's more people alive today than have ever existed for the rest of human history?
No way.
I thought that was like a bit of a bullshit thing, and I looked it up, and it's completely true. And it
makes sense.
Made me feel physically sick. How terrifying
did you know
is that?
If you get 1.04 liters of water and then stretch out every single atom into a straight line, do you know how long that is? Guess how long that would be? 20 miles?
The entire universe? I don't know.
1 light year.
God.
Wow.
Whoa.
And light travels 11 million miles a day or something like that.
That's insane.
And that's 1 liter of water. I know that stuff's crazy. I know what you mean though, the stress of the big number thing.
The big number thing freaks me out.
Yeah. And how
I
the
don't
world
comprehend
can
it.
change so drastically, and like how, yeah, I don't know. I would go on that tangent too. I'm not gonna, because I get passionate. I'm like, but wait.
No, it's
Yeah.
terrifying, and then you start to realize, like, gosh, maybe we are going to run out of stuff.
Nah.
Nah, it'll be all right when we just keep burning shit. I'm just going to
We'll
keep
go to
buying
Mars.
Close
stuff.
your eyes and keep going.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah,
all
I'm
good.
just going to buy another thing on Amazon Prime and forget about it.
Yeah,
Where are those horse goggles?
Yeah.
exactly.
Go on, Vinny.
But yeah, the record label was so enamored by Astrid's voice that they even released a shortened version of the song with just her singing, because originally it had her husband's singing as well as her singing.
Oh yeah, so that was his actual wife.
Yeah, at the time
He just got her to jump on and do it.
Yeah, he was just like,
That's wicked.
My wife can speak English. She might be good for this. And then everyone was like, holy shit, her voice is so nice. And
That's
because
crazy.
of the girl from Ipanema, that was basically her breakout song. And that propelled her into like a massively long and successful career, like singing just because of that song. Yeah.
Whoa.
The album which featured the song, Jets/Gilberto, released in 1964 to critical acclaim and became the first non-American album to win Album of the Year at the 1965 Grammys.
Damn.
It's been
there
included,
you go. That is a big achievement.
Yeah,
it's been included in Rolling Stones and Vibes lists of best albums of all time, as well as being one of the best-selling jazz records of all time. But the good times in Brazil were about to come to an end. Under the leadership of João Goulart, the country started to experiment with communism, and so unsurprisingly, the Americans did what Americans just love to do, and they helped stage a coup so they could instill a right-wing American loyalist as Brazil's new leader.
Classic America.
Castelo Branco was his name, and he served.
That means White Castle.
Does it?
A weird ass name to have.
Oh, does it? Oh.
Yeah.
Branco.
Well, I'm guessing because Blanco in Spanish is white, Castillo, like, yeah.
All right, yeah, interesting.
Bianco is white in Italian. I'm winging it, but
nah, yeah, it sounds. You know more than
that sounds right.
Blanco is like a last name in Spanish, at least. So
yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, he served as the first president of the Brazilian military dictatorship of the 1960s. This was a tumultuous time for Brazilians everywhere. With massive amounts of censorship, you were no longer allowed to speak out against the government without punishment of prison or worse. Hundreds were executed by the regime, and tens of thousands were either detained or forced into exile in the 60s because of this regime. The genre of tropicalia began to take hold of the country, being overtly critical of the government. But due to these censorship laws, most of these songs were actually banned from radio play. The bossa nova musicians, however, would sneak anti-establishment ideas into their songs so that they could remain radio friendly whilst still condemning.
That's actually pretty badass.
Yeah.
Well, it's like with gospel.
Is that what they did in gospel?
Yeah, some songs are like actual, like they included little tips like for the slaves to flee. So like there's like go over the river in Jordan and stuff like that, and it's just like no, it's actually go over the river here. And then they had little messages. Also, it was, they had like songs from Africa. They weren't allowed to sing them, so they had to put like Christian lyrics over them, and that way they could still sing their own melodies.
Oh, wow.
And still do like a God-related thing, but without the like people being like, "Hey, stop doing that," and like we'll kill you. It's like, okay. And
wow,
that's crazy.
That's wild.
Nobody's doing that to a Pitbull song.
Fuck
cares that much about listening to Pitbull.
Fuck off! I knew
this is real music. This is culture.
Pitbull, I Know You Want Me is about modern socialism. I know you want me. I want you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going down. I'm yelling timber, calling for the revolution. Burn everything.
Thank you, Paula. You've been my biggest advocate ever. This is fantastic. I feel like I've got like a lawyer. You're my like legal representation. Like, no.
Indeed.
And because you're Latin American, everyone kind of
Oh
has to
yeah,
take
you
it
get
for
points. You're like, well,
Mm.
the Latin American stands for it.
exactly.
Well, it's just
But yeah, this is why I think João Gilberto is the greatest Latin American musician of all time, and frankly, one of the three that I know. He's known as the father of bossa nova worldwide, a genre extremely near and dear to my heart, and those
Really?
during the political turmoil. Pardon?
that it's bossa nova is like a genre dear to your heart.
I love bossa nova. It's like
Oh, nice.
one of my favorite jazz subgenres.
Yeah, because
Probably
you
my
love like
second
jazz and
favorite.
stuff, don't you?
I love jazz, man. I fucking love jazz.
Mm.
But yeah, not just to me, but to those during the political turmoil of the 60s. And he was even dubbed O Mito, or the legend, back home in Brazil. That's what he's called.
That's
there.
a good name.
You can't
That's a
argue
good
with the
title.
legend.
That's probably better than Mr. Worldwide, I
No,
reckon.
no.
The legend.
Yeah, but Mr. Worldwide,
Mr.
Mr.
Three oh
Not
five.
the same.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know what? Sorry, this is going on a tangent, but back to Pitbull.
But he's
just
about to
really
wrap up
quickly.
though.
Yeah,
Stop
Sorry,
talking about
no,
Pitbull.
let me just say one thing. Pitbull is one of those people who said he's an icon. He's told everyone else that he's iconic for so long that he's become iconic.
Yeah.
That's why all
Fake it
these
till you make it.
rappers and reggaeton artists have to put their names in the beginning of songs, because if not, you'll just forget
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
sad. You don't see Mr. Bossa Nova over there.
Imagine
I'm
that.
confused.
Mr.
Is it
Bossa Nova.
Gilberto Gil or
Yeah.
Mr. Bossa Nova?
But he didn't need to, did he? Because he was
Imagine
just
that.
pure
Gilberto.
talent, legend.
There's
Yeah, that's
actually,
why he doesn't need to put in the tag.
Yeah.
there's actually a bit from that original Girl from Ipanema record where he just goes, Mr. Worldwide, just at the start, but they
Mr.
cut
Brazil.
it. Mr.
They
Brazil.
cut it.
It's like, João, stop it. João.
They're like, fine,
This is-
but this is gonna get big at some point.
Yeah. You're ruining the prophecy. That guy's not born yet. He's coming
Yeah.
to save us.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
Sorry, Vinny.
so
Sorry, I've got like one more line to say.
Yeah, finish us up with stuff.
He also gave a platform for his then wife, Astrid Gilberto, to also capture the hearts of millions, including my own. I think she's one of the best singers I've ever heard. I genuinely am in love with her voice. And quite frankly, the guy was just straight up genius with his guitar playing and songwriting skills. Like, there is something, maybe it's just a massive music nerd in me, but there's something about musicians who make really complicated music really poppy and like easy access that I'm always just bewildered by. I just can't help but have the most respect for, like, Stevie Wonder has made some ridiculously complicated music, but like really poppy somehow, and it's just, I don't know how he does it, but it blows my mind every time, and I just can't help but fall in love with that stuff. But yeah, that's Charles Gilberto, the guy who invented bossa nova.
Wow.
Fucking fair play, Jesus.
That was good, yeah. Like a fella who invented an entire subgenre of jazz, sold 5 million records and inspired the hearts of an entire nation, then put his wife, like gave his wife a platform to go on and have a successful music career as well, and is nicknamed the legend, like the, not a legend, the legend. And that tune, what's it called again? The Girl from Ipanema?
Ipanema, yeah.
can I just chime in just one second?
Bangs.
Go for it.
Yeah.
I think Girl from Ipanema was actually written by Tom Jobim.
Oh, no.
I don't think it was.
Was it not?
I think so. I don't know. Wait, let's see.
It's written by
But
João
it doesn't take
Gilberto
doesn't take away from the fact that he's a myth and that he recorded it and that he went with his wife, because a lot of, like you said, a lot of people have covered it. So maybe he was like the first coverer.
I thought he made
No.
it with the saxophonist, the Jets.
Oh, well, our great source is Wikipedia, so I don't know. It says that it was written by Jobim.
Oh,
Sadly.
Composer, yeah, Antoine.
Yeah.
But who?
Antonino
Hang on. Who
Carlos
was your
Jobim.
who was your geezer called?
João Gilberto.
But maybe he popularized it.
Maybe he just played
Well,
it then.
here it says, yeah, because it says single by Stan Getz and João Gilberto. So
Yeah,
maybe he popularized it, like in terms of like he was the first one to sing it, and then Jovim just wrote it, but then he was like, "Gilberto, go do your thing, like record it. You're badass." I don't know.
It could also be that because like often back in the day, people like wrote a song and then asked someone else to perform it. So he might I suspect he performed it, but it was written by.
That might be what it is. Yeah.
But in any case, he is the myth, the legend.
Yeah, it's still, I would say it was still his song, really.
Yeah, exactly. People
and all the
say
things that you said, like if they're a result of whether he wrote it or interpreted it or whatever, like he did all of that,
Yeah, he still like played it and still
his song
of the
whole
and he still did all that other stuff about like resisting the Brazilian government and all that. You can't take that away.
Well, I can't see anything on João Gilberto's Wikipedia that says that he didn't make that song either. So God knows.
Maybe there's a bit of a conflict.
Let's give it to him.
They kind of
maybe they wrote it together.
Time. Yeah, like I feel like there might have been multiple songwriters or something.
That was so interesting. Did you know?
I love that. But
I didn't. I only just realized this because we clicked on the Wikipedia. Do you know the girl from Ipanema is a real person? It's like based on a real person.
Yeah.
Called. Who has a name?
No, try it. No, fuck you. Try it.
Hello,
Helosia. H-E-L-O. Helosia. I can't. Helosia Pinto, also known as Hilo Pinero.
That sounded better. That'll do.
Spanish.
Yeah, she was
Eloisa Pinto. My crack at Portuguese.
That was good. That
was
bad.
I'll ask for forgiveness from my Brazilian friends. I'll just beg for forgiveness.
How close is Portuguese and Spanish as languages?
They're very close. I feel like Portuguese is bubbly Spanish. Yeah.
Okay, so if you went to Brazil, do you think you could you'd be all right? No?
Maybe, but I feel like with the slang and everything, like we'd have to speak I got an Uber Eats delivery and my place is really difficult to get to. And so we were on the phone and I could tell that he was Portuguese and I was like, do I do the thing? Should I attempt to speak Portuguese by literally just speaking in Spanish, but like with an accent like this? And then I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
He's going to throw your food away.
In Spanish, so I spoke to him in Spanish. He kind of understood me. We understood each other. And then I said, like, thank you in Portuguese and whatever.
That's lovely. I wish I could
do you don't want him
like
to just eat half the food and put it back in the box.
Or worse,
that's the risk.
A bun or something and then put it on top.
Or even worse, out you on Instagram as a racist and then your whole career goes down the fucking drain. Because
cancelled for trying to communicate.
As we found out from fucking Lizzo today, it can come for anyone.
Who's that?
Anyone can be cancelled.
Lizzo got cancelled?
Yeah, she was. I think. Look, it's a difficult one.
Oh.
It sounds like to me. So I don't know like a lot about it, but through various stuff I've done, I know like the dance industry and like the performing arts industry can be quite cutthroat. And basically, some dancers that dance for her have come forward and said that the environment they were in was like super toxic. People would call them lazy and overweight and ask them to like perform over sexual dances that they didn't feel comfortable with and stuff like that, which is really grim, but is also, I've heard that from loads of people who work in the dancing industry. Like
that doesn't mean it's acceptable, Seb.
No, it doesn't mean it's acceptable, but I wonder whether Lizzo is getting the brunt of it because she's like the big name. But actually, it'll be she'll have people under her who manage all the dancers and stuff like that. But like, obviously, it's still a really toxic environment, and it's not at all okay. But like, if you talk to any stage dancer, like the pressure is horrendous, and the things that people say to you are rank.
Also, it's kind of weird that they would call them overweight when Lizzo's whole brand is like body acceptance and hey, like you know what?
That's why it's a big deal.
I'm not afraid to put dancers who are overweight on stage with me because why shouldn't I? You know.
Well, that's the thing.
Like, but you're overweight, so
It's weird. It is weird. According to the so I read like a little. We really can cut all of this, but
we'll cut. Yeah, I'm not even sorry. I'm just like, yeah, we can cut this. It's like,
no, I love that. I love how into
want
it.
you to stay.
You can edit it,
No,
produce, whatever.
I feel like you're
Send you the
like just
files
one of us
later.
lot. You're just like, now we'll just cut this. This is fine. This is great. That's
Get rid of
exactly
this.
what that's the
This is a
attitude we
chat.
need. But no, what I read is that a dancer was struggling to keep up. And so people started saying, like, you're out of shape, you need to pull yourself together, you're not performing properly, you need to lose some weight, you need to like try harder and stuff like that, which is obviously, it's grim. But then it's also like when you're in a role where being athletically fit is like part of your job, it's difficult because people are going to say stuff. And like, it's like footballers, like people say to footballers, like, you know, they're lost their fitness, they're overweight and stuff like that, and that is horrible. But it's tough. I don't know.
I think it's worse because it's coming from like the Lizzo camp, where that is her message, and to subvert that and go for that. I think that's the big sticking point in it.
She did also used a slur for disabled people in one of her songs recently, and that went quite badly. So I think she was on the rocks, and then
she's on the edge.
Someone gave it a push.
Yeah.
And
someone gave it a big
I don't remember the
cancel.
word, but I remember that in the States, the word isn't like that. What was the word?
It was spaz, which in the
States.
Oh
yeah, but in the States that doesn't.
Well, that's the thing. So like in the States, like people will say like retarded all the time, spaz. But if you say that in the UK, that's not well. You can't say that.
Well, it's the same with like the word cunt. Like here people say it everywhere, and I was like, holy shit, like dude, gotta calm down. And then I was like, okay, it's just culturally different. Like if you say cunt in the States, it's like holy shit, it's like the N word for women. Like you cannot
they can't,
you know?
Whereas here
it's a term
of
endearment here.
I always greet my friends with cunt. Yeah,
it's like calling someone mate.
Also, 100%. Like if you said to an American, "Oh, you've been a bit of a cunt," they'd be like. Whereas if Vinny messaged me and was like, "Oh, Seb, you're such a cunt," I'd be like,
"Hey,
you know it." Like,
exactly. And God, that is a big cut. We can just fucking.
That's a big segue. Yeah, that's okay. Right. So, Vinny, absolutely loved that. And
go Bossa Nova. Bossa Nova is the best.
Bossa Nova is great. Yeah. Thank you. Not that I know anything about it, but that song, it's just it's vibe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember because when I was learning drumming, I was like, he was like, right, okay, I've taught you the basics. Where do you want to go? And I was like, jazz. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yes. And
was he sure he could do it?
Well, he got me on Bossa Nova, so I basically like just did like Bossa Nova for ages. It was really fun, actually, like really, really lovely rhythm. But yeah, I love Bossa Nova. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's great. I have a hard time singing "Girl from Ipanema" because, like you said, they have, like in bossa, like, and also jazz, when it's done in like an approachable way, they make things that are difficult or complex seem pretty simple or doable. And then there's this like ninth, like I'm seeing if I can sing it. It's like. The part that goes like da 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 da.
Yeah.
The next note is fucked up. It's like da, and I have such a hard time doing that note because what's going on in the background, musically, theoretically, your voice is like, no, if I do that note does not go there. Like, and so every time, like I've sang, I'm just like, all right, here we go. May the Lord protect me. And then I just jump in and do it, but it's terrifying. So yeah, it's kind of like, it sounds like beautiful when done correctly, but it's actually more complex than it seems.
It is, yeah.
That's what makes it impressive, because all that musical, like, I'm gonna say like musical nerdy stuff. I could see Seb's face as well. Me and Seb, we don't get it.
It's just like the noise
totally
when
over our heads.
You know when you turn on an old fashioned TV, and before it like found a channel, it just be like.
Yeah,
that's what I hear. It's just like,
but it's got to be respected because it's part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. Sometimes things are, when you see like football players like on the field, they're playing, and Messi, like he makes things look so easy and so smooth, and you're like, I could do this. All the other players around him are just slow, and he's great, of course, but this looks doable. And then you try, and you're like, what the shit? So this, sorry, I don't know if we can curse.
Oh yeah, we can say
you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, completely. So that's what happens with like what we're talking about with like jazz and bossa when it's done in that way, where you just see Gilberto's wife just do that, and she's like messy, like she just does it, and you make it. It's like yeah, she just did that. I can do that, and then you try it, and you're like, I'm not messy. Like
it's a different song.
I have that realization every day. I wake up. And I'm like, I'm not messy.
Now you're getting on my level. This is like. You're really helping Vinny here, because now you're getting onto my level. If you say that song, they're like messy, I'm like, oh, I get you now.
Yeah,
I got it. Okay, so they're messy. Pitbull's probably.
Do you know what the worst bit? Pitbull is Cristiano Ronaldo.
The messy of enabling hookups, though.
That's true. How many people have hooked up to Pitbull? But no, he's Cristiano Ronaldo. He's said he's amazing for so long that everyone's sort of. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
so he's
Ronaldo was amazing.
Yeah, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Was amazing.
Has Pitbull ever been cancelled?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Well, aside from the COVID thing.
So he did the COVID thing. There's two. The first
How we talk about Pitbull so much?
Because he's Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, I forgot.
No, so he got cancelled for the COVID thing where he called it a scamdemic, which is funny, but obviously is bad.
So
But the other thing that there was like a tried cancelling where some people were like, oh, he's like kind of sexist and he talks about ass and tits all the time. And then people tried to cancel it. But then if you read the Wikipedia article, then a load of like quite a diverse range of people from the Latin American community were like, oh, fuck off. It's just Pitbull. It's fine. Like, it's just like, it's fine. Like, it's not like, it's just, he's just like,
it's what we do.
It's kind of party culture. Like, it's songs to like twerk and hook up to. And like, yeah, maybe it's not perfect, but that canceling didn't really work.
I think the thing is, like, going forward, then maybe he shouldn't do that so much. But like in the past, like, dude, there's so many songs that say culo, like, just there's so much more worse singing things in reggaeton, like outward, like rapey shit, like grind on her. She's gonna say no, but you'll know that it's a yes, and then you'll take off her pants and shit. And it's like, maybe this.
Yeah, that doesn't sound quite very good.
That's true, actually.
People saying like, "Oh, she's got a nice ass." Next to that is just kind of like, "All right."
He did say something a bit like that as well. I forgot about that. There was one where he's like, she says no, but it sounds like yes or something like that.
Oh, fucking Pitbull,
Pitbull, what have you done?
That is bad. That is bad.
Oh no!
Well, you know, we're going into the Freud dilemma. Pedo.
He's not a pedo. No. Paula,
Pitbull's a pedo.
No, Paula.
What?
No, Paula. No.
A bunch of kids, mate.
No one said they were kids. No one said they were kids. They were adult women. Okay.
That's what a pedo defender would say. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm referencing a previous joke in case this does end up on the podcast. We're referencing a previous joke.
It's fine.
Oh,
don't
Paula,
worry.
you're so perfect for the show.
Don't worry. Don't feel yourself. You can say anything you want here. We're all good.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Unfortunately, you can say anything you want because it brings out the worst of all of us.
Yeah.
But cool. Right. So we've had Pitbull. We've had a lot of Pitbull. We've had Juan Gilberto.
João isn't like João Cancelo.
Sorry. Okay, thanks. João Gilberto. Yeah, you got to speak football to me so I can get it.
Yeah.
As well. Probably not enough of João Gilberto because I really like that. That was amazing.
And probably a bit too much Pitbull.
I think the thing is that it's so straightforward that João Gilberto is like fucking badass that then we just have to go back to Pitbull because it's like, why is Pitbull here next to João Gilberto?
Yeah.
You know,
it's like, funny. Here we are again. He's back in the conversation.
Yeah, he's back up. You see that like gleaming ray of sunshine. You're like, yeah, but what's that ugly mess over there? What's that doing next to that? What's that doing?
Why is
you have to go and have a look at it.
Yeah. Oh, no.
So cool. Well, we need our third candidate. So, Paula, it's over to you. Who are you bringing to the table as the greatest Latin American musical artist of all time?
I saw that you guys have like a kind of format of talking about it, but I was gonna start with something different.
Do it.
Start however you want. Do it however you like.
Like this, speechless. I was speechless. I was like, what do I say? South America is huge. And are we talking South America or like Spanish-speaking America? Are we including Portuguese in there? All the countries are really different. All the eras are really different. It's kind of like saying what's the best European musician ever. So it's like, okay, we can say the Beatles, but what if there's this like really badass like polka band that we can't, it's really difficult to compare styles, times, everything. Everybody, my phone is blowing up with like, different artists of different times, and they're like, but what do you mean? And so I was thinking, all right, first there's categories. There's like the importance of lyrics, the importance of live performance, expression, technique as a musician. There's the music. There's if it's catchy, if the musician experiments, what is their reach, their influence on other people, what is there a versatility of subjects that they talk about, but mainly for me it's like, do they connect with their audience? But also, when I say versatility or like of subjects, it doesn't mean that more subjects equal good, or if the person has more chords in a song, it means it's better because it's more complex or something. I don't subscribe to that. My favorite band is Arctic Monkeys. They have songs that are only 2 chords, and I love them, So yeah, I was like, I died. But then my first, what's it called? My first thought was Tom Jobim, which was the other bossa guy, but also this man called Gustavo Cerati. And Gustavo Cerati is a rock musician from the band Soda Stereo, like Soda Stereo. And that band was badass. They, you play they've got this song called Música Ligera. You play that song anywhere in Latin America and everybody knows the lyrics, everybody sings it, like, I don't know, what would be the equivalent here in the UK? Like a song, I want to say like maybe Champagne Supernova?
Mr. Brightside.
Yeah, Mr. Brightside. Yeah, Champagne Supernova, Mr. Brightside, Sweet Caroline.
No, Seb.
No. All Angels by Robbie Williams.
No.
Who's that?
Yeah, I couldn't sing you Angels by Robbie Williams.
Oh, she offers me protection.
Yeah, I would try to get all Robbie Williams out of my head forever. But Mr. Brightside is like,
that's a staple.
Yeah,
yeah. Even though I hate that song, I absolutely hate it. If it comes on at a wedding, like it did a couple months ago, I will belt it out at the top of my lungs, even though I hate it.
Yeah, it's the English way.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Pitbull.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's Pitbull.
That's Pitbull.
All roads lead to, we know where. 305.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, sorry. So there's this guy, Gustavo Cerati. So his band, Soda Stereo, was formed in 1982. They did some small gigs, then they did some bigger gigs, and then they went to this festival in Chile, called Festival de Viña, which is huge, and artists explode after they go to that festival. For example, Shakira. So, but also Shakira, just to summarize, Shakira like had a really big career in Latin America before going blonde and being like la, 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 la. So like,
that was the greatest impression I've ever heard. That was so good. That was so good.
It comes with a hair bleach. You're just able to do it after that. No, but just kind of anglicized and just being like, I'm hot and that's what I'm selling to you. Shakira was actually really good. She had really, really good lyrics. Anyway, she exploded after that festival in Chile, in Latin America. And same thing with Soda Stereo. The thing about Soda Stereo is that they are one of the most influential and most popular rock bands in Latin America. Nobody, like, you ask anybody there, like, Soda Stereo, they're like, yeah, for sure. So I am going to pretend I'm not gonna go on Wikipedia because I saw that you guys are talking about stats and stuff. So, let's see. There were like awards and stuff. They've done an MTV Unplugged. They've like top songs in Rolling Stone, like all those things. Like probably countless Grammys. Like they've just won everything. Like for me, I even felt like I didn't like I thought about writing that down and then I was like, no, like Soda Stereo, you don't even need to write that down. It's like saying like the Beatles. Like, do you need to say that the Beatles were in Rolling Stone? No. You know? It's kind of almost like, yeah. So they like Soda Stereo is huge. So Gustavo Cerati, the guy from that band, it was a composer, singer, and guitarist. Anyway, and the band broke up in '97, and then he did a solo project that he experimented with like electronic sounds, but people didn't dig it. But he was like really ahead of his time in that sense. And then he had a concert in Venezuela in 2010, and he just got descompensado. I don't know the word in English, but it's kind of like you feel really weak. So he had to stop the concert, and then he had a stroke, and then he was in a coma for 4 years, and then he died at the age of 55.
Oh no.
Cocaine.
Oh, that's horrible.
That's what it'll do to you. No, I don't know if it was cocaine, but I think it was.
We can
say such a tragic end to like it was going so well, and it's like, oh yeah, but then he passed out. He had a stroke, and then he died. Oh.
Exactly. It's really sad, and he was amazing. So the thing about him is like, okay, how do I say this? So I'm gonna not describe him so much. I'm just gonna kind of describe the effect he had in rock music in Latin America, because this is the thing about him and his band. Rock wasn't big in Latin America. Rock was only big in Latin America in really like wealthy areas, because those are the people who understood English, and they were like, okay, I've got my records from the Police, and you know, my cousin brought them over. But other than that, people accessed the music that was local to them. So it was perceived as kind of like elitist in a way. So people didn't really like rock. They didn't connect with it. The lyrics were in English. No. So I stayed, and there were rock bands, but they usually kind of stayed very local, and people didn't really go see them. The thing about them is that they somehow united Latin America in liking rock. They were, I did write this down though. They were the first band to tour Latin America. That's how much they united people.
Oh my God.
They were the first band, like the first Spanish-speaking band that toured Latin America. Rock bands, and this is like of any music. So they did that, and that's how much they united people. And it's interesting because in South America, there's a lot of a sense of national identity. Like we are all very different, and it's very, how do I explain this? We're all just very different, and it's, especially at that time, everybody's got their dictatorships. People don't talk about that much stuff, like any external influence. Things are just very like, I'm safe in my bubble. I don't trust you.
Everything's very divided, like very secular territory.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Then they So, oh yeah, and so the thing is, like, usually when you talk about rock, you kind of say like Argentine rock or like Colombian rock. But with them, it's kind of like Soda Stereo belongs to everybody, and they're just popular everywhere. And so the thing about Soda Stereo is that they're kind of pop as well. So they describe themselves as a pop band with heavy rock influence. So, yeah. So again, like, higher classes were listening to a little bit of rock, and then the lower classes were, did you say that in English? I feel like in English you don't say it. It sounds kind of weird. Working class.
We say we say lower and upper.
No, we say working class.
I feel like there's high.
We say
middle,
upper class and working class and middle class.
Yeah, we don't say lower class. We say working class.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I
but
forget,
that's
and
fine.
it's like, wait, I'm saying this, and here it might be. I feel like it's kind of pejorative, but I'm translating from Spanish.
It's not. It's
not
fine.
like
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah,
it's fine.
Okay, so working class people listen to more like dance and Latin rhythms, and they kind of combined the danceability with rock. And so also they were stylish. Like Gustavo Cerati was hot. He was charming. Everybody was just like, we love this dude. we love his lyrics. He sang about things that really get like united people. Like this, I know that this is the thing. Like when I was thinking about, okay, versatility of subjects or whatever, I was like, maybe they have some protest songs or something that I can talk about them being like, oh, they don't. They talk about heartbreak. They talk about death of loved ones. They talk about things that are kind of everyday things that people can relate to, especially at that time when nothing was uniting anybody. Everybody was super divided. The fact that they went and talked about, the most everyday things and they just united people. People, like, you guys have to, I'll send you guys a link, but like the way the crowd would react to them when they were performing is wild. Everybody felt it. And so for me, a huge point about being a musician is the point of connection. It's so hippie, but like it's true. That's for me, that's what it is. And so okay, wait. So the lyrics, yes, the content of the lyrics is love and all that stuff. And so, but I think that there's something to be said about the fact that it's so accessible. Like they are poetic. They're not just like, I love you and you love me. No, I love you, you love me. No, but there's poetry in there, but you still know it's love,
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be more than that. It doesn't need to be political and stuff. However, there is a political undercurrent that rock naturally kind of brings. So it was a way in which people could access a bit of rebellion without actually saying fuck this dictator, because Latin America at that time was a bunch of dictators. So it was kind of a way of rebelling and rebelling in style because leather jackets, all that stuff, but without actually crossing the line where you would be dead. So yeah, another thing is he would live performance, he would go around, he wouldn't stay in a spot, he knew how to handle the crowd and get them pumped, and yeah, all his charm and stuff. His technique is really good because he's not doing like a bunch of runs or anything. He's not like hey, hey, hey or some weird shit. Sorry, that sucked, but I was trying to make an example. But no, he knows when to do falsettos, like singing like high notes and stuff, but without making it like, oh, I'm showing off. Like it's still appropriate to rock because rock generally doesn't include those things. And the melodies are really good. Like they're not just stuck in two notes and they're very catchy. For example, like I don't know, Franz Ferdinand, who I love by the way, but like Michael, you're the only one, another one, only one, another one, only one, another one, beautiful boys and so it's all
monotone almost.
Yeah, so Stereo is like
expressive. Would you say he was expressive or?
Yeah, and like in the sense of like I think that that's a valuable contribution to rock in terms of like there's something unique about it, and there's something like it's the fact that he was able to mix like pop and rock and make it seamless. Like it wasn't like too experimental, it just kind of flowed. And then it's super like accessible in the sense of like it's really catchy. There's a lot of catchy parts that even if you don't know the lyrics, it's like oh, like everybody can do that. You guys can do that, I mean, in the sense of like language is not a barrier for
yeah.
And then there's like it's very like the sound is like very 80s. It's very clean, like the instruments, it isn't like distorted and stuff, which is fine, love that, but it's rock in a pop-ish version.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Then there's stuff they include a bit of like Latin American instruments, not that much, and it's not very complex, but it's great because like it's a lack of complexity on purpose, which I think is important. Okay, then we've got they've influenced everybody. You ask any musician in Chile or in fucking any country in Latin America, and they are an influence. And let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, no, they're just big everywhere, and even in the States, they kind of did a couple of things, but like an MTV Unplugged and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I think that it's also important to note that. Because at some point I thought about doing certain artists and being like, okay, but they went out of their countries, but it's like, no, Latin America stands on its own. It doesn't have to influence or be a part of like Anglo culture to be like, hey, well, this made it through, so surely it's better, Pitbull. So
We're all thinking it.
That's the nail
Daddy
in the
Yankee.
coffin.
You can't hold him down. He's got a song about that.
No, don't.
No, I don't know. Probably.
No, we don't.
No, but yeah, anyway, so I thought it would be
Yeah,
also cool for you guys to also hear it. I don't know if in the podcast then we can add the song or not or something.
Yeah, no, we
but
can.
It's
Yeah,
just,
we can do
honestly,
that.
it's just bop after bop after bop, people singing their hearts out. Things, it's about connection, it's about connecting a society which was super broken. Latin America in itself, the countries are they're very different. So it's hard to be like, okay, yes, I don't know, Spain and the UK have something in common, like a whole genre of music that will unite you completely.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like that, like to that level, no. And Soda Stereo and Gustavo Cerati did that. Bam.
That's amazing.
Wow. That's impressive. Yeah.
I think what's really
Mic
impressive
drop.
is that what we did, like what me and Vinny did effectively, is we found really good South American artists or like Latin American artists. But what you've picked is an artist that actually covers the whole of Latin America, which I think is really like wild. And also, yeah, we would never have known about that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was just kind of like, who is, like, I was like, South America, like, who can I pick that represents South America? You know?
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
You're gonna have to give me the name of the fella again, though.
I'll send it
slowly
in the chat.
because
Gustavo Cerati.
Gustavo Cerati. Okay.
And the
Okay,
is,
that's easier. Yeah.
And then the band is Soda Stereo.
Yeah.
Soda Stereo. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Soda Stereo.
Argentina.
Okay.
I'm gonna listen to that. I'm putting it
the land
again using the chat feature that embarrassingly we three didn't know existed.
Oh God,
I knew
until the other day.
I've used it before.
No, so on Monday the comedian put something in the chat, and me and Michael were just like,
I didn't know there was a chat box.
Well, what is this?
I think I spelled it the American way, but
no, that's fine. That's fine. When you shorten it,
yeah. Gotta get the message across somehow.
Yeah, because we didn't. To be fair to us, though, we didn't normally use Zoom, so we didn't know. But yeah, wow, yeah, that was insane because like you said, you've picked an artist that is like for South America, Latin America. It's like for that they haven't had to transcend that and go into the like wider world to be considered great. They just represented like exactly where they are, which makes this decision of who is the GOAT really, really difficult. Genuinely. So I think the hardest thing, because normally when you have two, so you just have to pick one or the other, but you always have to whittle it down to two when there's three. So we'll do that quickly because I've got a name written on a piece of paper here.
Wait, guys, can you give me just a second? I need to turn the light on, charge my computer is gonna die.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Anyway, so I've got Pitbull written down here.
That looks terrible.
There's some really wild shadows going on there for you, Paula.
Yeah, man. Maybe if I put myself sideways. Better. Okay.
What we're gonna do? We're just gonna do this with Pitbull. Because he's out. He's out of it. But
also, the irony is he's Mr. Worldwide. So he's on a plane, he's going.
See ya. He's gone. We don't want him in this conversation, unfortunately. It was a great presentation, Seb. But there's absolutely, I'm sorry, even just from a personal perspective, there's absolutely no chance in hell I'm ever going to name Pitbull as the greatest anything. I'm sorry.
He's not even the greatest Pitbull.
It's not gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. So he's out. So now I just need to decide between. Let me get the chat back up again because Gustavo. Oh, why is it? It's giving me messages. Gustavo Cerati and João Gilberto.
João Cancelo.
I know. I was trying not to say João Cancelo.
Not Cancelo. Yeah.
who I think are both insane in their own right. This is such a tough decision. I need to like pick a thing that is going to separate them.
Can I defend my argument with one more thing?
Go for it.
I need to send you a link because you know Garota de Ipanema. You're like, so obviously there's already an emotional connection. So I'm going to send a link.
I'm also going to send a link. Sorry.
No, you're not. I'm not listening to it. I want to tarnish my eardrums with more Pitbull.
Stereo, música ligera.
Okay. Hopefully it plays through my headphones properly.
All right. I'm going to send the link in the chat, which you now know exists.
Yes.
Technology.
There we go.
Okay, so
283 million views.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it sounds like a football stadium.
He doesn't look how I thought he was going to look.
Not hot enough?
He's not doing it for me.
Not even with Pitbull in the background?
Has it got Pitbull? It's not got Pitbull in the background, has it?
Can you imagine if Pitbull came
I meant
in?
like if he would make out with Gustavo Cerati if Pitbull
Oh, I'd make out with fucking anyone if Pitbull came on.
This video has 283 million views.
Yeah, I did just say that.
And it's a video.
Did you?
Yes.
Sorry. And it's a live video, which normally doesn't do very well.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, the crowd. Jesus Christ.
That's Latin America for you.
He still reminds me of Bob Dylan in his looks.
That crowd is wild. It's like a sea.
It's giving me very big football vibes.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you play the song anywhere, and you'll get that reaction from everybody.
Oh, the geezer's going for it. Okay.
Crazy.
You know what? I've had enough of that. And I've made my decision.
Hang on, can I send you a link? People like a massive crowd, everyone's going nuts to the girl from Ipanema.
Just all going crazy. They've got like, you know, those rave dummies, they've got those in their mouth.
Yeah,
absolutely twitching, girding away.
Vinny, they've got glow sticks
little,
between the fingers,
with, like a little classical guitar, just like
they got glow sticks between the fingers.
Yeah, like Mambos.
You fall on the floor, you're dead.
You're dead. Yeah.
That's a really, we shouldn't do that. It's a really in joke that only me and Vinny know. But right, so we've got João Gilberto and Gustavo Cerati.
Yeah, Cerati. Cerati.
Cerati. That was
Cerati from Soda Stereo.
Oh my God.
Perfect. Wow.
Your English accent is terrifying. Yeah. Not in a bad way, like terrifyingly good.
Yeah,
thanks. I could only do like Posh Queen or like East London.
Yeah.
There's no in between. You all right, mate? Or like, hey, darling, yes, that's about right. That's lovely.
Can you just give us one more? You all right, mate?
You all right, mate? Yeah, I'm all right. Are you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, are you all right? You know what? When I first moved here and I first got asked, "Are you all right?" I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine." I mean, now that maybe do I look like I'm not okay? Because now I'm thinking maybe I'm not okay. You know, I thought it was an existential question, like, "Are you all right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck," but. There we go. And I went answering shit that nobody asked me. And anyway, sorry.
And they're too polite to interrupt you, but
exactly
that's the way Britain goes.
Yeah. As probably this whole podcast has been, you guys are probably like, damn, this is supposed to last 30 minutes and
nah, it's all good, guys.
No, this is
an
ample amount of time. Yeah, perfect amount of time. So, and also there's a lot of Pitbull to cut. And a lot of pedo chat.
Pedos and Pitbull.
Can we stop putting those two together because they're not. They're not okay.
Well, I'm doing the thing that the comedian did. I'm trying to discount Pitbull by making him a pedo.
Yeah, but
Well, he's gone
already,
anyway.
Yeah, Pitbull's on the
He
fucking
went
airplane.
ages ago.
Get girl from Ipanema back and call her a pedo.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Sorry, Pitbull's not a pedo. Okay.
Yeah, he's gone. He went ages ago. He was never in contention. As soon as he said, as soon as I wrote that name down on there, I knew. I was like, I'm not picking him. So I was like, Vinny, and Paula could bring anything to the table now because it's not going to be Pitbull, but it is going to be somebody, one of these two people. And I think based on what I've just seen with my own eyes, that crowd, man, we all just saw that was insane. And to think that that is a band that has it hasn't needed to leave Latin America to be true to its roots. I feel like that represents that culture better than you can't represent your culture better than that. But João Gilberto is an absolute legend. To be the first, the first Grammy winning album that wasn't American in history.
Yeah, first non-American to win best album. Yeah.
Damn.
That's insane. And that song bangs. And the fact that Amy Winehouse, Frank Sinatra, everybody has covered that. It's the second most covered song in history. Those are insane accolades. I absolutely love all of that. But as I just feel like the title of GOAT, Latin American or South American musician or artist,
whatever in that we decide to call this episode.
Yeah. But that means something, and that's got to mean culture. And what I've just seen and what you've been speaking about, Paula, is the antithesis. They are the antithesis. They are the definition of that. So Gustavo, he is going to be the greatest Latin / South American singer, musician, artist of all time, because that was crazy. And also that song went hard. I absolutely loved that guitar, and that
sounds really good.
I'm celebrating as if it was my achievement, but legit, I shouldn't have even said anything. I should have just sent the video and then been like, that's it.
No, I loved all the context and all the information. Is very helpful, but we normally celebrate our victories as our victories.
No, it's totally yours. Don't let that go.
So
because otherwise, this is meaningless.
But that was an incredibly close second for João. Incredibly close. That was so hard to choose. And then Pitbull,
the inventor of Bossa Nova is strong contender,
Yeah, that's it.
And
it's almost
he's there too.
No, I almost feel like I could interchange the two. I feel like they're kind of both the same, but Gustavo and Soda, what are they called again?
Soda Stereo.
Yeah.
Soda Stereo. I nearly said Soda Stream, but that's a totally different thing. Soda Stereo.
Speaking of stream,
slightly pipping it. Yeah.
That Soda Stereo was the first band to ever do a live stream concert.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
And they disbanded
That's
in
insane.
97. So.
Oh shit!
Wow!
That
Ahead
is
of the
mad.
game.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. That's another
Minecraft.
little award for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Oh, they're great.
What did you just say?
in Minecraft.
Imagine. Comes back from the dead. It's is this what we've evolved to?
Yeah. That's the truth. Is you either die young or live long enough to become skin in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or a judge on American Idol.
Or a judge on American Idol. Or be a pedo.
Or be outed as a pedo, yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. We don't need to talk about Pitbull anymore.
Fuck
we
off.
don't have to, but we want to.
I know he keeps coming back.
Yeah, we're no more Pitbull chat. But
the thing is, the truth is, when I go to bed tonight, what song is gonna be stuck in my head? Música ligera, Garota de Ipanema, or I Know You Want Me. You know I want you. What is gonna be stuck in my head? Fucking Pitbull.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, you've only got Seb to blame for that. You should send him an angry email and complain.
Yeah.
I'm going to be, because if I have to go to sleep and Pitbull was going around my head, I'm not doing this podcast anymore. So
Yeah.
that's the punishment
Fuck.
you brought on yourself.
Just
Seth.
me.
Yeah, just you now. But that is the end of the episode. That was a really fun one. I absolutely
No, that was
great.
fantastic.
loved
Da-da-da.
talking about
Thank
two
you
of your
so much
picks.
for coming
I
on, Paula.
loved it.
You've been a
Thank you
fantastic
guys for
guest.
having me. Honestly,
it's
like
really
this has been really
educational. You've been a
fun.
great guest. Yeah.
Really good
Yeah.
guest, yeah.
Yay. And you
Maybe
guys are so fun to talk to. Like honestly, all the jokes, like the vibe that you guys have, it's really nice. It's been like such an easy conversation. It wasn't. I was like, oh God, what if there's weird shit? I don't know. Like
it's
you never know.
and there was
you
weird
know?
shit, but we kind of made it work.
But the good
Yeah.
kind.
No, but
like-
yeah, thank you for
yeah.
coming on. I feel like we should do another musical episode at some point, and you should come back on and we should talk music again.
Whenever
Yeah,
you
we'll
want.
definitely have
I'd
you
love
back.
that.
Yeah. Whenever you
Yeah.
want.
Well, before we go, did you want to plug anything before we go? Did you want to let anybody know to go and follow you on Spotify or wherever?
Sure, yes. So I'm Paula Luna, and you can find me everywhere as Paula Luna or Paula Luna Music. And I am not as great as Soda Stereo, but I do rock. So that is my very excellent.
That is a good
sales
plug,
pitch.
yeah.
That's wonderful. No, check me out if you like Arctic Monkeys, essentially.
Yeah.
And Amy Winehouse. So yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, that's
And you'll
pretty-
find all the links to Paula's stuff in the
Yeah,
description.
we'll put it
and
all down
everything.
below.
Woo!
It's all
Thank
there.
you.
I don't know why do we always point down there? It's not actually there. But there we go. That's the end of the episode. So we
Awesome.
always say love you bye at the end of the episodes.
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
love you
So-
too, guys. Love you. Bye.
Yeah.
Love you,
We always say
bye.
love you bye.
Love
So
you, bye.
love you bye. See you next
Love
week.
you. Bye. See you.
Fucking hell, that was great, gang.